As the dust settles on Summerslam and all of the fallout from Seth Rollins cashing in his Money in the Bank contract, stealing the World Heavyweight title from CM Punk, the Chicago Kid, man, oh man, oh man, I could not help but think back to this moment in time, because this was the moment when I think you and I began to suspect, is this a work or not? Are we being worked over by WWE, Triple H, and Seth Rollins right now? And there were a few red flags because Seth Rollins, we knew, dating back to the NFL draft, which is the final week in April, we knew that Seth Rollins was going to be hosting the Rich Eisen Show on Roku, and he was going to be the guest host for a couple days while Rich Eisen was absent. And so that was a planned appearance. Anyways, what wound up happening is this was the Wednesday after Seth Rollins was injured on Saturday night's main event before SummerSlam. And this is when he had said he had a knee injury. So he actually used the Rich Eisen Show here to explain his injury and what happened, and that he was most likely going to be out for a long time. And they feared the worst, but there was some red flags too. One is, like, when he was doing this, he seemed way too cool about it. You know, he just seemed way too cool for school, and I could see it at the time being a little bit of a pass off, like, well, he's gone through this before and he's a professional and he knows what's ahead of him and he's getting paid anyway. Okay, I get all that, but nevertheless, he didn't look like or sound like a man that had just lost one of the greatest opportunities of his career, which he was in all likelihood at the time going through. And as we can see where it wound up, we know that to be true. This was all a ruse. Nevertheless, at the time, it was not necessarily a ruse. He goes on here, he explains his injury to everybody. Everyone feels sorry for him, and he talks about, well, at least I'll get to spend more time with my daughter and all. He did a huge sell job. So I thought back to this moment, and I knew there was a ruse going on here. And the other tell was the knee swelling. He had said on this appearance 4 days after the injury that they were unable to get clean imaging yet of his knee to know the extent of the damage. And if you know anything about swelling and injuries, yes, it is a thing. It can give you inconclusive results from your imaging. However, 4 days is a bit extensive of a time period. And if you're as important as Seth Rollins is and you have a legitimate knee injury, there is no way that you are not going to know what's going on 4 days after the injury happened. So that was a red flag for me. And that was when, this appearance is when I started to think maybe, just maybe, this is a ruse, Nika. So having said all that, we got to hear a little bit of the other side of the story yesterday, and I found this just fascinating. I wanted to share a few thoughts back with the audience about it. And this was Rich Eisen on his show kind of questioning, like, did Seth Rollins use me and my platform to sell his injury to everybody?
So he was not on the ruse.
He was apparently not in on the ruse, if you hear this. Let's take a listen.
And then all of a sudden, we see on Saturday night in MetLife, him coming out with the crutches and then the brace, which tracked. And then he takes them off and starts sprinting.
Total Kaiser Soze.
Towards the stage with his Money in the Bank case. And Paul Heyman, by the way, very impressive. Almost stride for stride from Paul. And then proceeds to just beat the crap out of CM Punk with the Money in the Bank case.
Brutal.
And so I text Seth Rollins. And I think we have a screen grab of this, if you don't mind, Mike Hoskins. I text Seth Rollins, your knee's looking pretty spry out there. And, he basically confirmed it with his response of, I appreciate your participation.
Listen.
Was the text.
He turned into Gene Wilder from Willy Wonka.
To me.
Pause it for a second. Yeah, Gene Wilder from Willy Wonka, if you don't understand the reference, he comes out in a cane the first time we see him. And he's limping towards the crowd of people that have amassed that have never seen him before. And as he gets close to them, he does a perfect roll tuck. And when he rolls up, he does like a bow and an applause erupts and everything. And it was like all a ruse. Much like Seth Rollins here pulled a ruse over the audience. And my immediate connection to pop culture is Kaiser Soze, The Usual Suspects. If you've seen it, this was more like that to me. Like Kevin Spacey, of course, playing verbal Kint, and he has a fake limp that he pulls off throughout the whole movie. And at the end of it reveals that he, in fact, can walk perfectly fine, and he is the arch villain of the movie. And that's what Seth Rollins is to me. He's the arch villain here. And you know what's great about the moment from SummerSlam, if I may, just for a minute? The dramatic pause in which they waited and unveiled everything, like just hearing the music and then seeing Seth come out and then not knowing for sure, like, is he just coming out to taunt right now? And then to see it all unfold, it was stretched out so well and they did it so good. I just have to give them applause for that. But let's continue on with the clip here, shall we, Nika?
Sure.
All right.
And that's the way we're bringing Seth Rollins on the Rich Eisen Show here. Seth Rollins.
I'm going to get an applause in there as well. All right. Well, that was it for that clip. So I should have let it play out originally. My bad.
That's
but
okay.
I can never see how long these clips go. Anyways, what a brilliant ruse by Seth Rollins here. And I love that Rich Eisen sent him a text message afterwards like, hey, what the heck? And Seth Rollins didn't even deny it, didn't even try to say like, oh, so yeah, sorry about that, man. Nope. It was, yeah, thank you for your participation in my ruse on society. And so this was great. And again, I'm glad for this exchange. It was funny to see this side of it from Rich Eisen's perspective and to know that they didn't know anything that was going on, you know, and that Seth Rollins actually had to come into the set and sell it to them. Seth Rollins is one of the few entertainers in WWE that can kind of be himself in real life. And he doesn't have to play like a character or he has just gone fully in and bought into being his character. Like you heard Triple H kind of talk about, right? And that's in the Unreal show.
Yes.
And Seth Rollins does that. And he like, here, I want you to listen to him explain the lengths he went to pull this off in front of everyone.
All right. So you're feeling good, basically what you're saying. I just try to run through here because you were limping around like you were limping around here.
I'll tell you what.
I'm saying. You're limping.
I'll tell you what. Limping around on those crutches for 3 weeks was excruciating. That was painful because not only did I go and do your show for a few days, I went to the gym on the crutches. I took my daughter down to Manhattan Beach for some ice cream on the crutches.
Yes, sir.
I dropped her off at preschool on the crutches. I went to a nice steak dinner with my wife and Bianca Belair and Montez Ford with crutches. I did it all on crutches, and I'm telling you, it was excruciating. The crutches alone were painful. I thought I was going to get a shoulder injury, a real one.
All right, pause it for a second.
Well, who would believe that then?
I got injured from my fake injury.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that would be hilarious. I do want to defend one thing, though, here that he says. And I had to, unfortunately, be on crutches a few times in my youth due to different ankle and foot injuries and knee surgery, minor. But nevertheless, I had to be on crutches, and it is awful. And, you know, those crutch things begin to rub in on the side of your chest here, and it's awful. Like it leaves like a little rash on both sides, and it's just constant rubbing. And then, you know, your arms are getting tired. You know, you miss walking. Like you take it for granted. Walking's amazing. You should love walking. If you don't love walking, go on crutches for just 3 days. I remember being on crutches in the middle of winter when there's ice everywhere.
That's
no
tough.
fun, folks. No fun. At least Seth Rollins had got to do his crutches in the middle of summer. So
True.
Nevertheless, it is a pain in the ass. Let's continue the
surgery. Go down to Birmingham, legit. So yeah, it was a task. I was getting very irritable. My wife was putting up with me being grumpy. It was a tough one, but we pulled through, man. We did it for the greater good. I would say
for the greater good, and you know, we're honored to be part of it, Seth. And you know, again, the seat is yours when you want it, because we did have the logo of the show. I changed it. There it is, the Seth Rollins Show. I hope you don't mind the next time you come to sit for the chair. We've got a new logo for you. It's called the Liar Pants on Fire Show. Okay.
Yeah.
I think they should just keep it the
Make
Seth
sure to
Rollins
trademark
show.
that for me.
Okay.
All right. I love that.
You got it, Seth.
Yeah, I think they should just keep it the Seth Rollins show, because everyone knows Seth Rollins is not to be taken with a grain of salt anymore. Like, his name is synonymous with Ruse, you know? So who's ever going to trust Seth Rollins ever again? You don't have to call him a liar. His name means liar.
So after all this, he might have to reinvent himself if he wants to have another.
He's going to have to turn face at some point
Yeah.
and earn back trust if he wants to have his word taken.
Maybe that's the trajectory he's on eventually.
Yeah, I mean,
Who knows?
The great thing about this here is that Seth Rollins is going to be able to come back and possibly host again. And we hear Rich Eisen invite him almost here to sit in the chair again. And this show is moving to ESPN. Look, Seth Rollins has a big future ahead of himself in front of the microphone. He's one of the most talented guys on the mic in WWE today. And Rich Eisen talked about it in this interview. You know, as he's telling the backstory. You should go watch the whole clip, by the way. It's about 15 minutes long. But I wanted to share these nuggets with you because it's amazing the lengths that Seth Rollins had to go through to pull off this ruse and, you know, keep this in the public eye. One of the things that we didn't show is that his daughter apparently told her kindergarten teacher that it was a ruse.
Well, that he is a fake boo-boo.
Yeah, a fake boo-boo. Oopsie.
Oops.
Yeah, so, you know, don't tell your kid that Santa Claus isn't real, because they'll go and tell the whole damn class.
Of
And
course.
It's like, you know, they
That's
can't
what
keep
kids do.
secrets.
Of
So don't
course.
tell your kids secrets. No offense. It's not like you're being lying to them. You're just manipulating.
Of
things.
course. And they're kids. They don't
It's your
understand.
job,
so.
you know. He had to probably sign a contract that he would not tell anyone about this, of course. And so when your daughter goes and tells the kindergarten teacher, it might complicate problems.
I think they all have to sign NDAs when they're just
100%.
part of it. So, all right. So that was Seth, huh?
So that was a little bit of a peek into the window behind Seth Rollins and his ruse and how he was able to pull it off. But yeah, Seth being on Rich Eisen July 12th or whatever it was.
Mid-July somewhere.
It was right after Evolution. So it was like the 15th or 16th of July. That's when I knew that this was probably a work.
Yep.
And I was not denied. All right. Well, let us know what you think. Are you happy about this development? Are you happy Seth Rollins is going to be hosting the Rich Eisen Show again in the future? Let us know what you think in the comments below.